It's like going to, I guess, the headmaster's office and putting your palms out, expecting to take the rap and knowing that good things will come after taking the rap. You're here in the Gunners Club, you're here with Gunner, of course with Seuss, and we're talking all things China.
And all the good tariff stuff. If you go back a video or two, you see we did one on the trade war between
that's running hot
China
at the
and
moment.
America. Well, it seems to be ramping up quite a bit. Where are we? America's tariffs on the latest American
Yeah, so
tariff?
on general goods is 145%.
Yes, that's it. But China's saying, well, you know, we're not going to let that stand, so they put theirs up to 125 for American goods. I think Mr. Trump is, like in the saying in poker, well, you raised, I re-raised, well, time to go all in.
It's been interesting with Trump because he's promised people who do not retaliate that good things eventually will come.
Any ship built in China or flagged there will face a fee when it docks in the US. That is according to a draft executive order seen by Reuters on Thursday. What's more, the order calls on allies to do the same, or risk retaliation.
It's like going to, I guess, the headmaster's office and putting your palms out, expecting to take the rap and knowing that good things will come after taking the rap of the United States. And then we've got, I guess, the burgeoning power of China, wanting to make sure that it's a multipolar world, or in fact that they become the new hegemony. Now, Xi took power in 2012. And his position is really quite interesting, and let me explain to you why. He holds 3 positions, but they're the most 3 important, pivotal positions for China. So he's chairman of the political party. Mm-hmm. He's a ceremonial president of China as well. Mm-hmm. He's also chairman of the military. So that means all power effectively is vested under him. And you know what happens when all power vests under one person? Well, a lot of things happen. The risk of losing that power becomes very, very acute. They say that the American presidents stand their election every few years, but the Chinese leader faces his election every single day. How do you cement the power? What do you do when you're in that position? Well, you keep a very tight poker face for a start, don't you?
Well, you would think so, yes.
Okay. So in terms of his responding to the tariffs, I understand there's been a new tariff that's been levied for loading at ports.
Oh, it's a total game changer. It's not so much a tariff, it's a toll.
A document from Washington has proven to be more destructive than any sanctions. On February 21st, 2025, the U.S. Trade Representative proposed a new fee, charging up to $1.5 million in port fees for Chinese-made ships entering U.S. ports, directly undermining the foundation of China's shipbuilding industry.
The Chinese at the moment are the biggest shipbuilding nation by far.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Chinese shipyards, once filled with a queue of orders, are now finding themselves with no one interested. From 1999, when China's market share was less than 5%, to 2023, when it surpassed 50%, the rise of China's shipbuilding industry has made the U.S. uneasy.
That rug has pretty much just been pulled out from under them.
Well, I mean,
overnight.
Gone are the days of finding a ship being built on the Clyde, for mercy's sake. But explain to us why that's happened. What's happened to change that?
Well, when ships come into port, they always have to pay a porting fee. Generally speaking, it falls in the bracket of somewhere between $150,000 to $250,000 per ship. And then cargo inspections on top. Mm-hmm. Well, Trump has decided that, okay, instead of paying those few $100,000 at a time for any ship docking at American ports, he singled out Chinese manufactured ships. So
we're not talking the flag that they're carrying?
Or who owns it, or anything like that. It's whether it was manufactured in China or not.
So I know that with shipping, a lot of countries fly a flag where there's less restriction on labour, for example.
Right. Yep.
So no matter, you're saying to me, irrespective of the flag, no matter if the ship is manufactured in China, has been manufactured there,
Yep.
there is an increased tariff on it.
Well, it's gone up from a couple of $100,000 per time that they port at a dock to $1.5 million.
A document from Washington has proven to be more destructive than any sanctions. On February 21st, 2025, the U.S. Trade Representative proposed a new fee, charging up to $1.5 million in port fees for Chinese-made ships entering U.S. ports, directly undermining the foundation of China's shipbuilding industry.
Now, that is still to be increased up to $3 million. Think of the repercussions of that. No shipping company is going to want to bear that cost. Because keep in mind that ships do many travels over the course of a
Oh,
year.
absolutely.
So it's not a one-time cost. Every time you land at an American port, you're going to be paying that toll. What that means is that they're not going to want to bear that cost. They're going to want to minimise their costs. So they're going to want to sell those ships and buy non-Chinese manufactured ships. Well and good. So now we'll offload our Chinese ships on the second-hand market. Who do you think is going to want to buy them?
Well, who is going to place an order going forward?
For the USTR proposal, Japanese bulk carriers were $4.8 million more expensive than Chinese ones. Now the difference has increased to $5.8 million. Though Japanese ships are pricier, buyers are willing to pay the extra $1 million. Data from SSY brokers shows that the discount on Chinese new bulk carriers has reached the highest level since early 2023.
For new ships. And can you think of the ancillary industries involved with that? Power for electricity for a very large start.
Steel industry.
Steel.
Anything to do with ship manufacturing is now dead in the water. That's not a bad pun, is it?
Now, I know just recently there's been some announcements made by Temu and Shein to its customers in the United States to expect an increase in prices of the goods.
Yep. And gone are, as you pointed out in the previous video, of that minimus trade, which is basically going to kill Temu. Well, in America, in any event.
That's right. But it'll have huge repercussions for something like a Walmart as well.
Well, they get a lot of their merchandise direct out of China.
Yeah, it's really quite incredible.
Going back to this porting of Chinese manufactured ships, it's been said that Japan has picked up a lot of their shipbuilding orders.
The situation is even worse in the high-end ship market. South Korean shipyards monopolized all LNG and specialty ship orders, while Chinese shipyards barely managed to secure a few low-end bulk carrier and small container ship orders.
Where China had like 10 years forward orders for manufacturing these ships. We're talking gas bulk carriers, we're talking, you name
And we described them, a lot of them, as being the Panamax, so the maximum size that you could possibly fit through the Panama Canal.
Yeah,
those sorts
all
of
the
ships.
container ships, specialist ships for car carrying, those types of specialist ships. Basically, every order that was placed has now been cancelled.
It really is, I guess, just another marker of this whole decoupling of the economic dependency upon China. And what I see in a short term, whenever we see something like this, there's going to be cost spikes.
Oh, of course
there's going to be realignments of the resources to the producing nations. And there's going to be, I would say, an increase in the price of production as well. So the price of transport will go up. I mean, what's new? We see that every time there's an energy crisis with petroleum, for example.
That's right. But there is so many small and medium-sized businesses in China now going broke as a result of the tariffs. They're just closing. Thousands of them, one after the other, every day. They're all closing because they cannot compete with these tariffs. And the American consumer or the American importer that has placed these orders, the Chinese companies have now made them. They've bought in the raw product. They've made this stuff. And,
That's right.
And the American importer says, well, now, with this increased price, it's no longer, it's no longer tenable, so we're cancelling the order.
And again, it's the fight for new markets. So your country might not be directly affected by this. Let's say you live in the EU. You might be living in Hungary or Germany or France. And the ships which go to you don't need to dock in America. But you're going to find there's going to be more competition of ships and goods actually coming to you. In terms of a price war, it actually will be something in your favour if you're not living in America. As Australians, that's something we'll feel as well. The geopolitical trends, though, and the meaning that it will make the meaningful difference in power in our world is something we're going to discuss actually in the next video of ours.
That's a very good point that you made. However, why would you believe for a moment that America won't pressure the EU countries and every other Southeast Asian country to say, well, if you allow these ships to dock at your set price instead of upping it, then we'll raise our tariffs on you again.
Yeah, it's
the
an
secondary
thing.
boycott.
You've got to think of just how far you can actually spread your power. It's similar to the United States always kept a navy that could fight and win on two oceans in the world at any time. And that's something they've realised they have to scale back on. It's just not something which is realisable. You've got to pick your hill upon which to die. And preferably you pick the biggest hill or mountain you can find rather than the smallest one. And when you start to haggle with the sovereignty of other countries, I think that's when you really come to your undoing.
Yeah, well, the US dollar still holds some weight.
The US dollar does too. I think for a long time, though, the reserve really has been the euro. And I think with an economic bloc of 320 million people, I think it's going to continue to hold that for some time.
Very interesting times we're living in. Very interesting.
Join us for the next video. We're going to talk about what the balance of power is like between China and America and exactly what's going on. I can't wait to join you on that one. Come and join me, Seuss.
Try and keep me away. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.